It's not about how much time you spend with them. It's about what you do in the time you have. I want to start there because I know who is watching this. You are a parent who loves their baby completely, and who also has a life that doesn't stop because a baby arrived. You have work, or other children, or a household that doesn't run itself, or a body that needs sleep, or all of the above. And somewhere inside all of that, there is a question you carry that you might not even say out loud. Am I enough? Am I there enough? When I'm not in the room, when I'm at work, when I put them down and walk away, are they okay? Do they feel me? Do they know, in whatever way a baby can know something, that they are not alone? Here is what the science actually says. And it is not what guilt tells you. The research on infant attachment, decades of it, from some of the most respected developmental psychologists in the world, shows something that is both surprising and deeply reassuring. It is not the quantity of time that determines whether a baby feels secure, loved, and emotionally held. It is the quality of specific moments. Moments that, when done consistently, build something inside your baby that doesn't disappear when you leave the room. Researchers call it a secure base. I call it the feeling of never being alone, even in solitude. There are 5 things, 5 specific daily actions that build that secure base. 5 things that take minutes, not hours. 5 things that don't require you to be a perfect parent or a present parent every second of every day. They require you to be intentional in the moments you do have. Stay with me through all 5, because number 3 is the one that surprises parents the most. It takes less than 60 seconds, most parents never do it, and the neurological impact of doing it consistently is one of the most well-documented findings in early childhood research. And by the time we reach number 5, you will understand something about your baby's inner world that will change the way you say goodbye every single morning. Let's start with the first one, and I promise you are going to feel very differently about your ordinary days by the end of this. Thing 1, the hello that rewires everything. Think about the first moment your baby sees you in the morning, or the moment you walk back into the room after being away, or the moment you come home after work. There is a greeting that happens in that moment, and most parents do it without any awareness of what it is actually doing to their baby's brain. Here is what the science shows. The way you greet your baby in those reunion moments is one of the most neurologically significant interactions you will have all day. Not because of what you say, because of what your face does in the half second before you say anything at all. Dr. Daniel Stern, one of the most influential researchers in infant development, spent years studying what he called the greeting response, the instinctive, split-second facial and vocal reaction a caregiver gives when they first see their baby. What he found was that babies track this response with extraordinary precision. They are not listening for the words. They are reading the face. Specifically, they are looking for one thing. Do your eyes light up when you see them? That moment of genuine, unguarded delight, what Stern called the gleam in the mother's eye, is not just a nice thing. It is a neurological event. When a baby sees that expression, their brain releases a surge of dopamine and oxytocin simultaneously. Their heart rate settles. Their stress hormones drop. And a signal gets sent to the deepest parts of their developing brain. I am someone who causes joy. My presence is wanted. I matter. That belief, I matter, my presence is welcomed, is one of the foundational building blocks of what psychologists call a secure sense of self. And it is being built, or not built, in those first moments of eye contact every single day. Here is the part that makes parents pause. Stern's research showed that when caregivers greet their baby while distracted, while looking at their phone, while talking to someone else, while mentally still in the previous moment, the baby registers the absence of that gleam immediately. They don't cry about it. They don't make a scene. But measurable changes in their heart rate and cortisol levels show that the nervous system noticed. The window opened and closed without anything coming through. What to do? Every time you come back to your baby, every single time, even if you were only gone for 2 minutes, stop what you are doing before you get to them. Take one breath. Let your face arrive before your body does. Let them see that you are genuinely glad to see them. That moment costs you 4 seconds. What it builds in your baby lasts a lifetime. Thing 2, the sportscaster. This one has a name in developmental psychology. Researchers call it sportscasting, or serve and return narration, and it is one of the simplest and most powerful things you can do with your baby in ordinary moments. Feeding, changing a diaper, getting dressed, sitting on the floor while they play. It costs you nothing. And what it does to your baby's developing brain is extraordinary. Here is what it looks like. You narrate what is happening, simply, calmly, in your own words. Not educational content, not teaching, just narration. I'm picking you up now. There we go. You're looking at that light, aren't you? Yes, that's the light. It's bright. You've been watching that light for a while now. That's it. That is sportscasting. Now here is why it matters so much more than it sounds. Harvard's Center on the Developing Child identifies what they call serve and return interactions as the single most important category of experience in early brain development. Every time your baby does something, looks at something, makes a sound, reaches, kicks, and you respond to it, acknowledge it, build on it, a neural connection forms. Language, executive function, emotional regulation, social intelligence, all of it is built through these micro-exchanges. But here is the ingredient most parents miss. For these exchanges to have their full neurological impact, the baby's action has to come first. You follow their lead. You narrate what they are already doing, what they are already looking at, what they are already feeling. Not what you want to show them, what they are already interested in. This distinction is crucial. When you follow your baby's attention and name it, you are doing 2 things simultaneously. You are building language, connecting words to the things they are already curious about, which is how language acquisition actually works. And you are teaching your baby something profound about their place in the world. What you notice matters. Your curiosity is worth following. You lead, and I will come with you. Research from the University of Iowa found that babies whose caregivers consistently narrated in response to the baby's own focus, rather than directing the baby's attention, had measurably larger vocabularies at 18 months and significantly stronger emotional regulation skills at age 3. The narration wasn't about input, it was about response, about the baby's world being reflected back to them. What to do? Pick 2 or 3 ordinary daily moments. The morning feed, the diaper change, the bath, and make them narration moments. You don't need to talk constantly, you need to talk responsively. Watch what your baby is looking at. Then describe it. That simple act, done daily, is one of the most powerful things happening in your baby's brain. Thing 3, the 60-second transition, the one almost no parent does. This is the one I mentioned in the opening, the one that takes less than 60 seconds, that almost no parent does, and that has some of the most robust research behind it of anything on this list. It is what researchers call the departure ritual. And it is about how you leave. Think about how most parents leave their baby. They hand them to someone, or put them down, and then they go. Quickly. Often because leaving is hard, because the baby may cry, because someone told them that a fast exit is kinder, avoids the drama, avoids the tears. The advice to sneak out is so common it has become conventional wisdom. The research says it is one of the most consistently harmful things a parent can do for their baby's sense of security. And I use the word harmful carefully because I know that is a strong word. But the data is consistent. Here is what happens in a baby's nervous system when their primary caregiver disappears without warning. The baby is playing, or feeding, or simply being, content. And then the person their entire nervous system is organized around, the person whose heartbeat they have known since before birth, whose smell is the smell of safety, is simply gone. No transition, no signal, no goodbye, just absence where there was presence. To the baby's nervous system, this is not just surprising, it is a low-grade emergency. Because if the person can disappear without warning once, they can disappear again, at any time, without signal, which means the baby can never fully relax. They must monitor constantly, vigilantly, for any sign that another disappearance is coming. Research from Mary Ainsworth's foundational work on attachment and the decades of replication that followed shows clearly that babies whose caregivers regularly left without warning developed higher baseline anxiety, more disorganized attachment, and more difficulty self-regulating then. Babies whose caregivers used consistent departure rituals, even when those departures involved crying. Here is the counterintuitive truth at the heart of this research. The crying at a goodbye is not distress building, it is distress releasing. There is a fundamental difference. A baby who cries at a visible, acknowledged, consistent goodbye is a baby whose nervous system knows what is happening and is processing it. A baby who watches their parent disappear without warning is a baby whose nervous system is in a state of unresolved alarm. What the departure ritual looks like before you leave, every time, you go to your baby. You make eye contact. You say, in simple, warm, consistent language, "Mama is going now. I will come back. I love you." You pause. You let them feel the transition. Then you go. Every time, the same words, the same warmth, the same reliable sequence. Within weeks, something remarkable happens. The baby begins to anticipate the ritual. Their nervous system learns, this specific sequence means a goodbye, and goodbyes end in returns. The departure becomes predictable, and predictability, for a baby's nervous system, is the closest thing to safety there is. Thing 4. The body check-in. This one is the quietest on the list. It makes the least noise. It takes up the least space in a day. And it might be the most underrated thing a parent can do for their baby's developing nervous system. I am talking about incidental touch. Not the big moments of holding and feeding and comforting. The small ones. The hand resting on the baby's back while they play on the floor. The cheek brush as you pass. The gentle press of a palm on their chest for a moment while they lie in their crib. The thumb rubbing the top of their hand during a feeding. Small, casual, unremarkable physical contact woven into the ordinary fabric of a day. Here is why it matters at a level most parents never hear about. Touch is not simply comfort for a baby. It is information. Specifically, it is the primary mechanism through which a baby learns the boundaries and safety of their own body. Inside the womb, compression was constant. The baby was held on all sides, continuously aware of the shape and edges of their physical self. Outside the womb, that compression is gone. The baby is in open space, experiencing gravity, experiencing their own body as a separate thing for the first time. Physical contact from a caregiver does something that no amount of visual or auditory stimulation can replicate. It tells the baby's nervous system, your body is here. It is bounded. It is held. It is known. That is not a metaphor. Research from the Touch Research Institute at the University of Miami, led by Dr. Tiffany Field, shows that regular gentle touch from a primary caregiver reduces cortisol, increases serotonin, improves sleep quality, accelerates weight gain in premature babies, and, crucially, builds what she calls a felt sense of physical security. That felt sense, the body-level knowledge that I exist, I am held, I am here, is one of the earliest and most fundamental forms of self-awareness. And it is built not through the big dramatic moments of physical contact, but through the small, daily, incidental ones. What most parents don't realize is that they are already doing versions of this. The absent hand on the back, the half-conscious stroke of the head. What changes when you do it with awareness is the quality of the signal it sends. when you are present in the touch, when you pause in it for even a second, when you make brief eye contact in the middle of it, the message that reaches your baby's nervous system is not just "I am here," but "I am here, and I see you, and you are safe." That is a fundamentally different signal. What to do: set a loose intention to make physical contact with your baby at least once during every routine you share: feeding, changing, playtime, bath, bedtime. Not a big gesture, a hand, a touch, a moment, and be present in it when you do it. That is all. That is enough. Thing 5. The emotional echo. We have arrived at the last one, and this is the one that will change the way you think about every interaction you have with your baby for the rest of their infancy. Because it is happening in all of those interactions already. The only question is whether it is happening in a way that builds security or in a way that quietly chips away at it. I am talking about emotional mirroring, and I want to explain it carefully because it is both simpler and more important than most people realize. From the very first weeks of life, your baby is watching your face for emotional information. Not just when you are directly engaging with them, always. When you are in the room, when you are nearby, when they can see your face or hear your voice, they are running a continuous background scan. What is this person feeling? What does that mean about the world right now? Am I safe? Researchers call this social referencing, and it is one of the most sophisticated social behaviors any creature on Earth performs. Your baby, who cannot walk or talk or feed themselves, is using your emotional state as a compass for navigating reality. Here is where it gets profound. Dr. Daniel Stern's research on what he called affect attunement, emotional resonance between caregiver and baby, showed that when a parent consistently mirrors and matches a baby's emotional states, something extraordinary happens. The baby does not just feel seen in the moment. They begin to develop the neurological capacity to understand and manage their own emotions. The mirroring literally builds the emotional regulation circuitry in the baby's brain. Here is what this looks like in practice. Your baby is excited, kicking their legs, making sounds, face bright. You match it. Your voice goes up, your face opens. You meet their energy. Your baby is calm and drowsy. You slow down, your voice softens, your face settles. Your baby is frustrated, hitting at a toy they can't reach. Instead of cheerfully redirecting them, you pause. You let your face show that you understand the frustration. A small furrowed brow. "That's hard, isn't it?" before you help. Each of those moments is an emotional echo, and each one teaches your baby something they cannot learn any other way: that their inner world is real, that it can be communicated, that someone receives it, that they are not alone inside their own experience. This is the thing that stays with a baby when you are not in the room, not your physical presence. The internalized knowledge, built through thousands of these small emotional echoes, that their feelings matter, that they are seen, that the world contains someone who receives them. Developmental psychologists call this internalized secure base, the felt sense that even in solitude, even in the absence of the caregiver, something of that caregiver's responsiveness remains present. It is not magic. It is neuroscience. And it is built, one emotional echo at a time, through the ordinary moments of an ordinary day. What to do? Once a day, deliberately follow your baby's emotional lead. Whatever they are feeling, delight, frustration, curiosity, drowsiness, match it in your face and voice for just a moment before you respond to it. That 1 second of being met before being managed is the difference between a baby who learns that emotions are things to be fixed and a baby who learns that emotions are things that can be felt, shared, and survived. 5 things. A lit-up greeting. A narrated ordinary moment. A 60-second goodbye ritual. A hand on their back. An emotional echo before a response. None of them require hours. None of them require a perfect day or a fully present parent or a life without demands and distractions and exhaustion. All of them require something far more achievable, intention in the moments you already have. Because here is what I want you to carry from this video. Your baby is not counting your hours. They are not measuring how long you were in the room. They are not keeping a tally of how many times you were distracted or rushed or just surviving the day. What they are building in their nervous system, in their deepest brain structures, in the felt sense of themselves and the world, is a pattern. A pattern built from thousands of small moments of being met, of a face that lights up, of words that follow their gaze, of a goodbye that says I will come back, of a hand that says you are held, of a face that says I feel what you feel. That pattern is what stays when you leave the room. That is what your baby carries into their crib, into their sleep, into every moment you are not there. Not your absence, the accumulated evidence that you were there, and that when you come back, you will be there again. That is the secure base. That is the feeling of never being alone. And you are already building it. Every ordinary day, in more moments than you realize, you are already building it. What this video gives you is the awareness to build it on purpose. If this video helped you, if it gave you relief, or a new way of seeing your ordinary days, or a single thing you'll do differently tomorrow morning, share it with a parent who needs to hear it. Because the question of whether I am doing enough is one that almost every parent carries. And the answer, most of the time, is yes. You just need to know where to look. I'll see you in the next one.